You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's now time for us to find out what big stories are making the headlines in today's dailies across Nigeria. And joining us to analyze this is the publisher of the newspaper, Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, one of the best ever to do this. That's all for today.
Mr.
Amaechi, we're happy to have you join us this beautiful wet Tuesday morning. Yes.
The pleasure.
It's been raining cats and dogs in
morning, Nigerians.
Lagos.
Yeah.
Good morning.
When they say raining cats and dogs, I should actually look that
It's
up.
an idiom.
What is an idiom?
Back in Roman times,
There should
cats
be a
and dogs
backstory.
used to rain.
I will look for
That's
it.
the backstory. Trust me.
I don't trust you. I can never trust you.
So let's start with the Punch newspaper. Like I know.
Overhaul. An overhaul of Benga Borough.
So the screaming headline on the front page of the Punch newspaper says 2027 North rallies voters as South tops pre-registration lists. I mean, this is quite interesting and unexpected because most times we see Southerners as being laid back and the Northerners are very politically active. But it's not yet Uhuru. Let's hope this registration turns out to be, they actually come out when it's needed on the days of the polls. Osun, Lagos, Ogun lead as online pre-registration hits 3.5 million, 288,614 complete physical exercises, says the writer. Northern Governors Parties Group unveil campaigns to close widening regional voters gap. And also on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have OPS, as the organized private sector, rejects 5% fuel surcharge. TUC threatens strike. I feel they're speaking on behalf of majority of Nigerians, and I hope they can also add that increase in the cost of getting a Nigerian passport as one of their conditions too. Because things are really tough these days. Kaduna violence, El-Rufai ADC leaders shun police invitation. And World Cup qualifier for the football fans, can Eagles fly high in Bloemfontein today as they go into a very important World Cup qualification tie with the Bafana of South Africa. I saw the pitch earlier. We will be playing at some stadium in Bloemfontein. Mr. Amaechi, that pitch is like a rice paddy. It's a rice field. The South Africans put us in a field of mines. Because, I mean, we have professionals that play in England in the top clubs in the world. How do you expect them to be playing in that? I think it's deliberate.
They have wonderful pitches.
And they have the FMB Stadium in Johannesburg.
They have wonderful pitches.
Held the World Cup finals. Why are we not playing there? But regardless of their tactics, and I'm like that both of you are wearing green to represent your patriotism, we will triumph over South Africa today.
Hallelujah. Amen. 2
killed in Lagos in fresh Lagos court clashes, and seized allocations. Court here, Osun's suit against the Central Bank of Nigeria. I mean, let's start off from that. We have a current president that made a lot of noise when former President Obasanjo seized allocations of Lagos State local government allocations because he created LCDAs. And now the president seems to be doing the same thing to the Osun State government. The Osun State governor tried to, pally up to him. He visited him. He even went to visit him with his famous nephew, Davido.
OBO.
But still, nothing came out of it. So now he's going, and he also endorsed him ahead of 2027, even though he belongs to a different party. But now he has seen that all those things are not working. That maybe if he went with Whiskey and Davido, he might have listened. But the bulk of the matter is the allocation to Osun State local governments is still with the CBN. It's still been seized. What do you make of this? And it's decided to go to court.
And they have transferred the case from Osogbo now to Abuja. And the state government is crying foul. Well, what do I make of it? It is still part of the impunity that is reigning supreme in the polity right now. Of course, like you rightly pointed out, when President Olusegun Obasanjo seized the local government allocations to Lagos State because then Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu created local council development authorities, and the Obasanjo presidency thought that the issue of local government creation is a constitutional thing. We have 774 local governments recognized in the Constitution, and therefore it was unlawful for any state government to go on its own will and create additional local governments without recourse to Constitution, and seized the local government allocations. Of course, there was an outcry. Tinubu went to court, and eventually, of course, the courts could not do anything until Obasanjo left office, and under the leadership of late President Yaradua, may his soul rest in peace, all the money was paid back to Lagos State. Now, President Tinubu is doing the same thing to Osun State. Of course, it's a different scenario altogether. Adeleke came to office and dissolved the local governments, the leadership, which statutorily they have not completed their tenure. So in that sense, he also erred. And that's also the impunity of the governors. All of them do that. And it is not right for them to do that. Local government administration is also a constitutional issue. So if their tenure is 3 years, you don't come in, even if they were elected a day before you took office. You don't come in and whimsically and unilaterally dissolve the local governments. It's against the law. So, but that's what he did. And of course, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had to fall back. Now he's remembering how constitutional it is not to release funds to the new local government chairman. But what is wrong is also Adeleke is alleging that behind the scene they are releasing those funds to the local government chairmen that have been sacked. And don't also not forget, that was what they also did in Rivers State. They withheld the allocation to the local government councils when the Supreme Court gave that verdict. But all those funds were released to the sole administrator who is not known to the Constitution. So it's a whole lot of impunity going on there. And the way the Tinubu administration is going, I don't know, but we have a civilian dictatorship on our hands. And Nigerians need to decide whether this was what they asked for. There must be rule of law. Everybody must play by the rules of the game. Whether you are a local government chairman or whether you are a governor or a president, nobody should be above the law. The Constitution should be the ground norm that guides all the activities, all the actions, not only of the governments at whatever level, but of individuals. Without it, we are going to create anarchy.
Chaos. Yeah.
Because everybody will be acting on his own whims and caprices, and that is not going to augur well for the country, as it were. So let us hope that now the case is in court. I don't want to say more than that, but let us hope that the courts will do the needful, and at the end of the day, we should be able to resolve this. Because local government ought to be the closest government to the people. And therefore, taking away their funds again, people may also argue that even those ones that have local governments, the state governors take away their money and give them stipends to only pay salaries at the end of the day. So there's a whole lot of things that are going wrong in terms of the way we are running this democracy. I just hope and pray that our political leaders don't push us over the edge with the way they are going.
People have started to push back from what we've seen. Let's take a call from Port Harcourt. Alhaji Mohammed is calling from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Alhaji. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Alhaji Hassan Mohammed Indaba. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Hello.
One incident too many. You know, sometimes people preach what they do not practice. This is Tinubu that was denied allocation by his own brother and our former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, during his tenure as a governor when he created the LCDA against the rule of law. And Obasanjo said, no, you cannot bypass the National Assembly by carrying out such action. Only not 1 year I came back and alleviated the whole problem. But having said that, now you can see a situation in Osun State because we allow illegality to stand. In Rivers State during Rotimi Amaechi administration, there were an elected local government administrators in Rivers State. When Nyesom Wike took over, I don't know where he derived his power from. He nullified and sacked all those people, and nobody has come to anything. We have a situation whereby in our constitution from the beginning to the end of Section 305, there's nowhere it has empowered an elected executive to sack a fellow elected executive or to sack a legislator as enshrined in this separation of power. But we've seen that play out where somebody from the top manipulated the process. Stand. We are prepared in 2027 that some of us may not be even privileged to see when we are supposed to concentrate in governance and policy directions in the country. But unfortunately, the most thing that happened in our country recently now is about 2057. So I think the government should see how we can make our constitution supreme. The President should know that Section 1 of the Constitution is expressly clear. Whoever that violates the provision of this Constitution shall face the wrath of the law. But unfortunately, he is doing it, others are doing it. So ultimately, his own national whatever he feels is right for him well. Let us see what authority will say. I don't of that because it is unhealthy for our democracy. And it is an act on the people and the backline of all those who are expecting or all the president to see how it can make sense on issues or approach them. We instead those people that legally removed by ability. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but when the little I heard from what he said, he was basically agreeing with me. There is nowhere in the Constitution where the governors, it amounts to impunity, will come and dissolve a duly elected local government administration without their term coming to an end. So in that sense, what Adeleke did was not correct. It is also not constitutional for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to unilaterally withhold the allocations that are due to local governments. The same thing that Obasanjo did to him and which the Supreme Court ruled. So is the impunity we must protect as we move forward. The way elected officials of the state, both at the federal and state levels, the way they are behaving as if there is no ground norm, as if there is no constitutional, there's no constitution that ought to dictate their actions, it will not take us to any good spot.
Okay, let's take the conversation to a different paper and look at the Nigerian Tribune this time. The big story on the Nigerian Tribune: proposed 5% tax on petroleum products. TUC threatens strike, describes policy as economic wickedness.
I agree with that. I endorse it.
We have 2025 UTME JAM Committee uncovers 4,251 cases of finger blends, 190 cases of AI-assisted cheats.
It would be nice to get details of that.
1,878 candidates impersonate albinos. Wait, I
really don't understand what's going
Okay,
on.
let's take a call from Chidi.
Yes.
Maybe we can
And
get a
then we'll
clearer
look
picture
into
there.
that.
All right. We have Chidi calling from Imo State. Good morning, Chidi.
Good morning.
Yes, please go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Chief Chidi Popper. I am calling from Owerri. Ikechukwu, God bless you abundantly. You know that quite a number of things happen in Nigeria, and you start wondering where we are really heading to. One very funny thing about our nation is that it's just like somebody fighting with the deaf and dumb. If you talk, the deaf won't hear you. And when the deaf talks the way they talk, you won't understand them. It's a terrible thing when things happen and we never care to learn from history. These are things that have continuously happened, and nobody cares, nobody wants to learn, and we just keep repeating issues over and over and hoping that we'll get a new result. It can never work. Why would anybody seize money accruing to the local government for whatever reason? In all honesty, Nigeria will change the day we decide to look inwards, plan, and then get results in the future. Nobody builds on nothing. It will never work. Nigeria is great, but the way we are toying with this nation, it doesn't give anybody that element of either trust or confidence. Are we really thinking about tomorrow? What about the younger ones coming up? What is really happening? And the funny thing is that when anybody kicks against any particular policy, it will look as if you are kicking against the government. No. We are really talking about what will profit everybody. I appreciate your views this morning, but the important thing is, if anybody listening, if there are people listening, are they prepared to actually understand what you are saying? If they understand what you are saying, are they prepared to actually act in consonance with the thought? These are issues. Nigeria may never get out of what we are passing through now, except there is spirited effort by virtually everybody to move forward. And that's my take this morning.
All right, thank you.
God bless Nigeria and God bless our citizens.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chidi, for sharing your thoughts with us. Okay, just to quickly touch on the JAM story, 2025 UTME JAM, what they were talking about when they said finger blending was apparently the tactic of people writing expo on their fingers or in short notes and hiding it somewhere. So there's been increased case of that. Jay Kepele is the chairman of that committee.
Yeah, he should be here with us.
Yeah, broad network of facilitators. He said there are several, weak legal frameworks that have hampered enforcement, but maybe we'll come back to that. Motorists lament state of Ibadan Ijebu Ode Road. 3 simple measures that reduce diabetes risk by 31%. You can check that out. Local government funds, fireworks at Abuja Court, as Osun government says. AGF not ready to obey court orders. Governor Okpewolo implement unprecedented reforms in Edo Civil Service. We'll come to those
Is this
reforms.
a paid advert?
We need to check. Then strike threat. Federal government meets with NUPENG, NLC, TUC, Pengasan threaten to join strike. You see how they want to put us inside one chance on top of this strike matter. So Pengasan and NUPENG are saying that Dangote is trying to discourage unionism. He's saying that the new tanker drivers that he's going to employ must not sign, they will sign contracts that say they can't join any other union but the union that Dangote Refinery will form. And Pengasan said, lie, over our living body.
Dangote Refinery Staff Club Union.
Well, their one is, I'll double check, I've forgotten the name of their own drivers, something.
The crux of the matter is you and I are about to suffer because two elephants are fighting. And we're at the grass in this situation. So what would you propose as the right way out? There's the Pengasan, we spoke to a representative of Pengasan, the Secretary General, this morning. And he said, you know, they're doing it for the welfare of their staff and the greater good condition of service, welfare, their package. And, you know, if Nigerians suffer for 1 or 2 days, it's for the benefit of the
mass
greater
benefit.
good.
They suffer now and enjoy later.
Yes.
So
Well, we've had that over and over again. Of course, that is the same promise that President Tinubu made to all of us, that we should suffer now, so that
But even in this suffering now, they are still adding
we will
a
enjoy
little bit, 5% of sufferness here and there.
we will enjoy a paradise tomorrow. But look, on a serious note, I think the issue between Dangote refineries and the trade unions, NUPENG, and of course Pengasan, is a chicken and egg kind of thing. You don't even know
Which came first?
which came first and who to really blame in this issue. Dangote, if he goes ahead with what he plans to do, is going to establish a monopoly in the oil industry.
but is this his
And that's why I'm saying it's a chicken and egg kind of thing. And then I said you really find it difficult to apportion blames in this thing. Is it his fault? No. If the government did what it was supposed to do, NNPC has 4 refineries that took trillions of naira in the name of turnaround maintenance, which, as we speak, they still remain moribund. Now, a private citizen committed $20 billion of his hard-earned money to establish what is being touted as one of the biggest, if not the biggest refinery in the whole world, 650,000 liters in capacity. I don't know, every day. So that money is there. At least in the last 1 year since that refinery came on stream, the issue of fuel scarcity has almost become a thing of the past. In fact, the man is now exporting locally refined petrol to US, which is unprecedented.
Never happened before.
Never happened before.
Unprecedented. And now he is saying that he's going to import 10,000 CNG-powered trucks to lift petroleum products to all the nooks and crannies of the country.
For free.
And that is where NUPENG comes in. They are kicking. I understand that all the trucks that
I think it's about 4,000.
NUPENG, about 2,000.
NUPENG has 2,000 trucks.
Dangote What is
Yes.
importing 4,000?
4,000, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
And
4,000.
CNG, which is going to cost less, way less than
yes.
diesel-powered trucks that NUPENG has.
Exactly. So, is NUPENG really fighting for Nigerians as they claim?
Which is what I asked their
You
representative.
ask
of
that
Ferguson
question,
today.
and how?
Okay.
Or are they fighting for the check-off dues?
And do the truck drivers represent
And or are they fighting for
generality of Nigeria?
the check-off dues that they get from their members, which of course they are not going to get if these
not part of the
Another
union?
angle.
No
Truck-
take-off dues. No, that's what I said. Yeah.
truck drivers, if they are not part of NUPENG. So many people, SAN, Femi Falana, talked about Section 40 of the Nigerian Constitution, of course, which talks about freedom of association. Again, yes, why that is true, Dangote has not stopped anybody, but they are saying this is where we are. They have formed truck drivers association, or whatever they call them, of Nigeria, DTAN. So it's a chicken and egg kind of thing, but NUPENG, I think they should stop holding Nigerians by the jugular. This issue of strike and no strike. And Nigerians are becoming wary of all these things. The strike started yesterday, but if you look at it, if it were before, the whole place would have been grounded by now.
You know what?
You won't drive to any filling station and get fuel. But people are no longer positively responding to the issue of threats from this.
We're having strike fatigue.
If you call it that, yes. But the NLC, I think, has lost what it used to have before, because people are not seeing them as those who are fighting for the cause of the masses any longer.
Okay, I mean, you talked about the Direct Trucking Company Drivers Association that's been established by Dangote Refinery and its cousin Dantata. And the question is there a way that they can work with NUPENG? And a valid question, are they really fighting for these, are they really fighting for Nigerians, or are they fighting for their own personal interests? You know, that's another key question to ask. They've been, there's supposed to be a meeting. There was a meeting yesterday. The meeting ended in a deadlock.
It was
So there's
deadlocked.
supposed to be another one. How do you foresee this happening? I've seen different analyses. There are people who say, look, NUPENG cannot win this war. The sooner they find a middle ground, the better, because the truth is, Dangote is importing the petrol. Dangote has the logistics. Dangote, basically, he's incurring less expenses. His trucks are diesel powered, so he's going to pay less. He will do door-to-door delivery. So at the end of the day, who stands to lose? And the truck drivers that NUPENG claims they are fighting for, are these truck drivers aware? Are they in support of it?
If any NPC could not defeat Dangote, I don't see how NUPENG is going to do that. In any case, how are they going to do that? The man is importing 4,000 CNG trucks. So,
Which is double the amount of trucks you will have.
even if you go on strike, it won't affect anything. It won't affect anything, because they already have their own trucks with which they are going to distribute. So I don't see how they are going to win. I think they should go to...
I mean, they can physically block the roads, they can obstruct, you know.
But the
do
government
other
will
sorts of
now-
things.
It will be anarchy, and the government will now have to come in one way or the other. And I'm not too sure that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration will side NUPENG.
But what are the
over Dangote.
dangers of leaving such a critical national infrastructure in private hands? Distribution of oil products, and also the availability of it. We, like you rightly said, the current refineries are moribund. We're hardly producing anything. And we've been saving a lot of forex from importation of refined petrol products. So far, so good. It's been, we're in the honeymoon phase, but
Benga,
if
that
things
is-
change,
that is what
what are the dangers for us?
That is what I said earlier, which prompted the question from Olive. Do you blame Dangote? And I said no. But the truth of the matter is that we are in a full-blown monopoly in the oil industry. Dangote, in all his businesses, you rarely get a competition. In the cement, this thing, so we are in another era of monopoly, and you know what happens in monopoly. But do you blame him? No, we blame the irresponsibility of the Nigerian state.
He should do masterclass for them and teach them on how to run business.
We blame the irresponsibility of the Nigerian state that has refused to do what they ought to do. How on earth is it that an NPC cannot manage 4 refineries?
Over decades.
Petrobras is there doing wonders in Brazil.
Petronas in Malaysia.
That of Malaysia, Saudi, all these people are doing well. How is it that it is only NNPC that cannot? And you see the scandal that has been coming out since the former Mele Kyari left office. These guys scammed Nigerians. They took everybody for granted. Took even
members of the press,
everybody, to Port Harcourt and said that the Port Harcourt refinery is now working full stream. Where are we now?
That guy with a jerry can or bottle.
Where are we now?
Yes.
So you don't blame Dangote. If the government did what they are supposed to do, and they still have opportunity to do what they are supposed to do, because we still have the 4 refineries, and nothing stops the government. If only one man could set up a $20 billion refinery, what of the government? Okay, you have removed fuel subsidy. Why don't you use part of the money that you have raised from the removal of fuel subsidy and say, even if it is 1 refinery,
let's do it.
And say, okay, let us build 1 refinery, so that there will be competition, so that Dangote does not go into a monopoly and control both the upstream and downstream sector of the petroleum industry. So you don't blame him. He's a businessman, and he's there to maximize profit at the end of the day.
He's not running a charity. Dangote Refinery is not for the less privileged.
A charity. When people were shouting and jumping up and down before Dangote came into operation, if Dangote refinery comes,
all our problems will be over.
The fuel price will come down to 200 naira. I was laughing. I said, how? But this man is in business to make money.
He's a capitalist.
He's in business not to make money. So there is no way he's going to run a Father Christmas, a charity organization. You don't set up a $20 billion business and use it now to massage the ego of those in political office who have refused to do what they ought to do. It is not Dangote that is going to bring down the price of this thing to promote the cause of the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is in there to make money. If the government desires to help, they should set up their own refinery and create competition, which cannot drive down the price.
There's been talks on privatization, or the NLNG model, that is 5149, as proposed by the Secretary General of Pengerson this morning. What do you make of it? Because it's not working, and prayers are not working for the refineries. So
whatever,
do we sell it?
They say pray for the refinery.
Or do we do an LNG model?
If you listen to what former President Olusegun Obasanjo said earlier, he said selling those refineries, in fact, trying to revive them, was a waste of time, because that it wasn't going to work. And I interviewed somebody some time ago, Dr. Omar Elas, who also made the same point, that the Port Harcourt refinery and all those refineries, they don't have the capacity to produce petroleum products, refined products, the way they ought to be. They can't match Dangote.
Yeah.
So
refinery.
if it means setting up new refineries, I don't know what is going to be done with the old ones, but I think the technology they have there is almost moribund. Can we go ahead and establish new refineries? Fortunately, I think they said BUA is looking into coming into the business. If he comes into the business,
That's another monopoly, eh?
well,
It will be a duopoly.
The more the merrier.
the more the merrier. Because
And they granted licenses to over 60
Mr.
people
Amaechi,
to engage in refineries. Where are the other 59 people?
I know our time is up, but my question, just like we asked the Pengasin National Secretary when he came here, why is it that NUPENG, Pengasin, Petro, and Ipman have not gone on a strike since these 4 refineries were not working? They've not gone on a strike to say, listen, our members are not going to get paid. They're going to be short-staffed.
For national interest.
They're not going to get jobs. For national interest, we must work.
And then there's the 5%
Or when
fuel
Dangote
tax.
just did one thing, no, all of us, we are striking. Why didn't you go on strike on
There's
the
a
one that has been
5% fuel tax
memorable?
that we haven't talked about as well.
Because and that buttresses the point. Are they really fighting for Nigerians, or are they fighting for their own pockets?
They will argue that the people they are fighting for are Nigerians.
The take-off dues they are getting, living fat on the suffering of Nigerians. You know, and that's why when they call for strike these days, nobody listens, because Nigerians are tired. Nobody is fighting for their interests. People are fighting for their own personal interests and camouflaging it as national interests. No. Where is the interest of the common man in all this?
And that's
What are we benefiting from all this? Like you said, a 5% petroleum tax is going to be introduced. Perhaps
That would affect all Nigerians.
And we're not
next
talking
year.
about that, yes.
And if you buy what it means that if you buy a 10,000 worth of fuel, you're going to pay extra 500 naira.
all right. We have to go now.
And look at the multiple effects it is going to have on everything.
Everything, transport, food, and all that.
On everything. It then
We'll
means
continue this.
inflation will continue. It then means poverty will continue. It then means Nigerians will continue to plumb the depths of misery.
Well,
Well,
thank you so much,
thank
Mr.
you so much,
Ikechukwu
sir.
Amaechi, for joining us.